wasn't built to compete. It was built to rewrite the rules. While superpowers pour billions into stealth, Sweden built something smarter. A jet that doesn't hide. It predicts. AI-powered sensor fusion, modular mission computers, a radar that hunts in silence, and a price tag that makes F-35 accountants weep. But here's what they don't tell you. This isn't about technology. It's about time. The Gripen E shaves seconds off pilot decision-making. And in modern air combat, seconds are the difference between victory and a fireball at 30,000 feet. So how did a small Scandinavian country with no stealth obsession create the fighter jet that's making NATO reconsider everything? We're about to find out. Because the Gripen E isn't just Sweden's future. It's a warning shot to every air force still fighting yesterday's war. November 2019. Test pilot Major Erik Lindström strapped into the Gripen E prototype over the frozen Baltic Sea. His mission: stress test the new AI-driven sensor fusion system against a simulated Russian Su-35 ambush. The scenario was simple: survive. Within 90 seconds, his cockpit lit up with threat vectors he never requested. The AI had processed radar, infrared, and electronic warfare data before his brain registered the danger. Then his display went black. Not a malfunction. The system had switched to passive IRST tracking, hunting the enemy without betraying his position. Lindström realized something chilling. The jet was making decisions faster than he could. When he landed, he told engineers one thing: I wasn't flying it anymore. It was flying with me. That moment redefined air combat, because the Gripen E doesn't just respond to threats, it anticipates them. Sweden has no aircraft carriers, no massive defense budget, no delusions of global military dominance. So why is their fighter jet terrifying analysts from Washington to Beijing? Because while others built muscle, Sweden built brains. The Gripen E is a 4.5 generation multirole fighter developed by Saab, Sweden's defense industrial titan. Length 15.2 meters, wingspan 8.6 meters, max takeoff weight 16,500 kilograms, top speed Mach 2 or roughly 2,037 kilometers at high altitude. But speed isn't the story. Network-centric warfare is. Titanium wings sliced cold air over Swedish forests. But the real battle was happening in code. The Gripen E breaks the traditional aircraft, radar, target, kill chain. Instead, it fuses data from AESA radar, infrared search and track, IRST systems, and electronic warfare sensors into a single AI-enhanced picture of the battle space. The result? Earlier threat detection, faster decisions, lethal precision, and a single engine design powered by a General Electric F414 GE39E turbofan, which means lower operating costs than twin-engine rivals. They built peace faster than they built control. Here's what keeps F-35 pilots awake at night. The Gripen E's modular mission computer can be updated mid-conflict. New threat. Upload new software. New weapon. Integrated in hours, not years. The aircraft's architecture is designed for rapid adaptation, something legacy platforms struggle with. This isn't a jet. It's a flying software platform. And the AI does something unnerving. It learns. Sensor fusion means the Gripen E doesn't just collect data, it interprets it. Radar tracks a bogey. IRST confirms heat signature. EW suite detects comm frequencies. AI cross-references all three and delivers a threat assessment in milliseconds. The pilot doesn't hunt. The aircraft presents the kill. But here's the kicker. The system works even when outnumbered. In a 2022 wargame simulation, a single Gripen E detected and tracked 8 hostile aircraft simultaneously, while coordinating with ground-based air defense, all without emitting a single radar pulse. Silence isn't weakness. It's the new dominance. Gray clouds reflected off canopy glass, and somewhere below, war became obsolete. 10 external hardpoints. That's the Gripen E's arsenal capacity. A modular weapons bay that transforms the jet from air superiority hunter to ground strike predator in under an hour. Air-to-air? Mount Meteor, beyond visual range missiles, and Iris-T short-range killers. Air-to-ground. Pair it with precision-guided munitions or anti-ship missiles. Reconnaissance. Swap in sensor pods. The Gripen E doesn't specialize, it adapts. And its 360-degree electronic warfare system means it can jam enemy radar, spoof incoming missiles, and disrupt communications, all while maintaining offensive capability. But the real edge? Logistics. Then the radar stopped, and so did history. The Gripen E can deploy from highway strips with minimal ground support. No massive runways, no sprawling air bases. Just a straight stretch of asphalt, a fuel truck, and a 6-person ground crew. In a conflict where air bases are the first targets, this is a strategic game changer. While adversaries crater runways, Gripen E squadrons scatter into forests and highways, reappearing, striking, vanishing. Guerrilla warfare at Mach 2. Smoke curled from exhaust trails. War had learned to whisper. Here's the number that makes defense ministers nervous. The Gripen E costs roughly $85 million per unit. The F-35, $110, $130 million depending on variant. But cost per aircraft is just the appetizer. Lifetime operating costs are where the Gripen E delivers the knockout punch. The F-35's cost per flight hour hovers around $33,000, $42,000. The Gripen E, estimated at $7,000, $10,000. That's a 4 to 6x cost advantage over 30 years of service. Why? Single engine simplicity, lightweight airframe, modular maintenance design, parts swap in hours, software updates remotely. The Gripen E was engineered for long-term affordability, not short-term spectacle. For mid-sized air forces, think Brazil, Thailand, potential NATO members. This is the difference between a viable air defense and a budget black hole. Sweden didn't build the most expensive fighter. They built the most sustainable one. Sunlight broke through storm clouds, but money still talked louder than thunder. Brazil signed first. In 2014, Brazil's Air Force selected the Gripen E over the F/A-18 Super Hornet and Dassault Rafale, a decision that sent shockwaves through the defense industry. Why? Technology transfer. Saab didn't just sell jets. They shared blueprints, trained engineers, and co-developed systems. Brazil didn't become a customer. It became a partner. Sweden's Air Force is modernizing its fleet with 60 Gripen Es. Brazil ordered 36, and the export pipeline is heating up. Nations watching? Thailand, Colombia, Slovakia, Bulgaria. Even NATO members are eyeing the Gripen E as a cost-effective F-35 alternative, especially for countries that prioritize multi-role flexibility over pure stealth. Because here's the strategic truth. Not every mission requires invisibility. Sometimes you need an aircraft that can patrol borders, intercept bombers, strike ground targets, and do it all without bankrupting your defense budget. The Gripen E is that aircraft. Flags rippled in silent competition, alliances shifting like sand. The Gripen E is a sensor fusion, network-centric, cost-optimized multi-role fighter. Different philosophies, different battlefields. The F-35 wins in stealth. Low observable design reduces radar cross-section. Sensor range, advanced radar, and EO/IR systems. Deep strike, penetrating heavily defended airspace. The Gripen E wins in cost, $4 6x cheaper to operate long-term. Flexibility, modular updates, rapid weapon integration. Logistics, highway capable, minimal infrastructure needs. Availability, higher sortie rates, lower maintenance downtime. So which is better? It depends on the war you're fighting. If you're the US facing peer adversaries with advanced air defenses, the F-35 stealth is invaluable. If you're Sweden, Brazil, or a NATO border state facing hybrid threats, airspace violations, and budget constraints, the Gripen E is the smarter choice. One dominates in theory, the other dominates in reality. Radar screens glowed amber in the dark, both sides convinced they'd already won. The Gripen E isn't finished evolving. Saab is developing drone wingman integration. where a single Gripen E could command multiple unmanned combat aerial vehicles, UCAVs, in coordinated strikes. Imagine, one piloted Gripen E leads 4 AI-controlled drones. The drones scout ahead, draw fire, jam radar, or deliver precision strikes, all controlled from the cockpit via neural interface. Swarm warfare. And the modular architecture means these upgrades don't require scrapping the fleet, just uploading new software. This is the 6th generation warfare vision. Networked, AI-assisted, human-commanded. And Sweden is building it now. Metal met silicon in the cockpit, and the pilot became conductor, not warrior. The Gripen E is not the loudest fighter. It's not the stealthiest. It's not the most expensive, but it might be the smartest. Because Sweden understood something others missed. Future air combat isn't about who flies fastest or hides best. It's about who processes information faster, adapts quicker, and sustains longer. The Gripen E breaks the aircraft radar target cycle. It fuses sensors, accelerates decisions, and redefines what a mid-sized air force can achieve. And it does it all without breaking the bank. So here's the question. No one's asking. What happens when the budget-friendly underdog outperforms the flagship? What happens when AI replaces brute force? What happens when Sweden's quiet revolution becomes the new standard? The Gripen E is rewriting the rules of war. And the world is just starting to notice